What did you see from the offense during that stretch?
Missed shots, slow getting back, so got to play tougher than that down the stretch.
Right, I think at halftime you guys were still up 8.
Yeah.
That kind of went away pretty.
Yeah, to start, we were low energy coming out to start the third. So they made up that ground real fast. Then we fought back and went back and forth. And then, a couple mental errors left wide open three-point shooters. And against a team that's that good, you just can't do that, particularly when you're shorthanded. We can't throw possessions away.
What did you see from OG on offense? Like, he kind of had a good move.
Yeah, I thought we had a really good rhythm in the first half, and then in the second half we didn't. So, we got to change it.
Kind of with that, it felt like guys would have a shot, dribble, then do a step back and do a three. It felt like individual guys rhythm in terms of just shooting quickly. Did you notice like guys not being able to let it fly, and do you think that hurt part of the offense too?
Well, like some guys, they were closing hard too, trying to run them off the line. So that the right play is, to shot fakes, get along the curb or hit the paint again. And some guys, they were close and short too. So that you got to read the closeout, and then you play off of that. So, and we needed to get some stops, which we didn't. And we needed easy baskets, and they swarmed the ball in the paint. So we lost. There were a lot of loose balls that we got, were knocked away from us, and there was a physicality to the game that, I want to take a look at the film, but they didn't have any fouls in the third quarter, so we'll see.
Couple minutes left. You went with McBride, went with that small lineup.
Yeah. We were just, we were down and trying to make up the ground, and then just trying to get more three-point shooting on the floor, and so.
With Curry, you guys seem first half to contain him, and then he seems to go on his little bursts.
Yeah.
Inevitable.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for him to get going, and he never stops. So you can handle the first part, then there's going to be a second and third one, and so a couple of them were guarded extremely well, and he has that ability. But we got to find a way to win that game.
They're obviously a team that moves well without the ball, and I'm sure you guys preach that going into the game. Is that a thing where it's like easier said than done, or is there some things that the team needed to clean up on defensively?
Well, I think with Curry, the way he moves, there's going to be a lot of attention on him, and you have to be disciplined because they're also going to screen and step. They're going to slip screens, and so because of if he hits a shot, and I thought Butler made a couple of really good plays for them with Hield. The way Jimmy plays, if a guy hits a three, he's going to search him out on the next play, and he reads the game extremely well, as does Draymond. So you have to have an awareness as to what's going on in the game, and we probably could have communicated better than we did.
Where do you think Mitch is at with his defensive timing right now?
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's there were some really good plays. It'll come. He's it's about where we anticipated it.
Pretty tough road trip coming up, especially the first 3 games, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors again. Just what do you think needs to either improve, or what do you guys have to?
Yeah, and that's why and I know you guys think it's cliche, but that's why you approach it the way we do. Is we're not we want to understand what happened in tonight's game, make our corrections, get ready for the Lakers. That's all we're thinking about. We're not thinking about 5-game trip or whatever it is. Just think about the Lakers, and then you take them one by one, and we know we have to be ready for that game. Yep, thanks.
He's going to warm up and hopefully go, but don't know.
Yeah, just real quick on GP2, non-displaced fracture of the nose. Status for Thursday, we'll know later.
Day to day.
Status for Thursday to be determined.
Maybe just going to do the press conference.
Yeah, well, they should be answering medical questions.
Towns is not playing tonight. How different does your game plan have to be for the Knicks with him not available?
Yeah, I mean, it's different, and then you have to account for Mitchell Robinson being back too, and we'll see how many minutes he plays. But we haven't seen him in a couple of years, and he's a game changer for them with being the lob threat, shot blocker. So it'll be definitely a different team than with Karl. But you got to adapt, and we still know they're going to run stuff through Jalen and spread the floor, run a lot of pick and roll for sure.
Steve, at the beginning of the season, they had the GM poll. The GMs were asked who was the best leader in all of basketball. Number 1 was Steph. Number 2 was a tie between LeBron and Jalen. I was wondering, you spent a lot of time with Jalen. What do you think makes him a good leader, and what do you think about him being the captain of this team?
Yeah, I mean, I can see why he was rated so highly. I mean, having coached him in the World Cup, he's just got a great combination, similar to Steph. Great combination of confidence and humility. Everyone really likes him on a personal level because he's very down to earth and just a normal guy. But game comes down to it. He wants the ball in his hands. He's going to take over, and I think teammates love that kind of guy. So there's a reason Jalen is who he is. He wasn't a high pick. He doesn't have the prototypical size and leaping ability, all that stuff. But he's a fierce competitor and really, really skilled.
How do you game plan for a guy like him who just doesn't back down any defensive coverage?
Yeah, you have to mix it up. And last year we came in here, had a good game, got off to a great start. And we defended him pretty well. And then I think 3 weeks later at Chase, he came out and just torched us at about 38. And so we know what kind of competitor he is. And so it's more about how ready we are to play. And, are we locked in from the start? And we know, they're a hell of a team, 40-20, pretty big time record. And so this will be probably our biggest challenge since we've gotten Jimmy on our team, and we're excited.
He extracts so much of Jimmy's all-around game. How much do you need him to turn up the score?
I think there are going to be nights where we need him to score, for sure. Last night was not one of them, but I'm not really concerned with numbers because Jimmy's not he's not that kind of player. I'm more concerned with just the overall nature of our attack. We need him to be a focal point of our offense, no matter how many shots he hits. He's an incredible passer, and it's really what he prefers to do when he's dominating the ball. He likes to get off the ball and draw people and kick it, and that should be really powerful stuff for us. But I didn't love last night. It didn't feel like we involved him enough. And what I talked to our team about was we can't catch and hold. We got to swing the ball. And there were several possessions in the first half where guys could have just caught it and swung it to Jimmy and run into a pick and roll and just kept the action going. But we caught and hold, and we tried to go one-on-one, and it's just we're not going to take advantage of his skills if we play that way.
Steph said he would wait and see how his ankle was feeling in the morning. Did you be able to see how he was feeling?
Not yet. I mean, one trip to the Garden, I'm pretty sure he's going to do everything possible to play, but he also knows he can't, do anything silly. So hopefully he warms up and feels ready to go.
Steve, when as the years go on and as a coach, you get some gut punches where guys get hurt and then another guy gets hurt, and you say how bad can it be? And like if you're Jason Kidd right now, what do you say when you're like it can't get any worse and then it keeps getting worse?
Yeah, I mean we feel for Jason. I mean it's just I always feel bad for players when they get hurt. Feel bad for coaches, organizations. It's you just want everybody to be healthy. The league's better that way, and these guys are, they're committing their every single day to being great at what they do, and then obviously with Dallas, it's it's coming on top of the AD injury, so they're getting hit hard right now, and it's brutal, but it's part of it.
Everyone always says to us, next man up is what you guys always say, players say.
Yeah.
Do you eventually, do you have to say something different? Can you keep saying that, or that's just...
I don't think there's any alternative. I mean, you guys can say other stuff, but for us, it's like, well, what else can we say? Because it is the truth. I mean, you still go and play the game, and you still have to go out and compete and try to win. So it literally is next man up.
Steve, what approach have you seen Steph use? You've obviously been with him for so many years and Team USA experience. When we talk about his leadership and the idea that in Olympic scenarios, players from other teams get a real chance to see how he prepares. What does his leadership look like to you from that standpoint in terms of guys potentially learning from him or kind of taking qualities that he has in terms of preparation?
As far as the Olympics are concerned, what I really enjoyed was seeing Steph and LeBron in tandem and their preparation and their focus and their leadership. And that you could sense that they really enjoyed each other's company and kind of feeding off of one another. And so it's amazing to watch. I mean, I'm used to coaching Steph, so it's really fun to watch LeBron. They're very similar in that regard. I mean, 100% of the time they're thinking about taking care of their body, preparing their mind, focusing on what's next. And so the two of them together it was incredible watching them. But as far as here with the Warriors, I mean, it's one of the great blessings of our organization is young players come here, new players come here, and they see Steph. I don't have to say anything. How hard he works, the preparation, the daily focus, and the joy in all of it. He loves it all. That just sets an amazing tone for us.
Steve, you mentioned Jalen earlier. From the time you first got in contact with him, Team USA.
With Jalen?
Yeah, from the time you first got in contact with him, USA Basketball to now, where have you seen this game evolve so far?
I think to me, we played him against Dallas, 22 West Finals, and he was obviously a really good player at that time. But when he left Dallas and came here, it just seemed like he took on a different role and responsibility, became the guy, embraced it immediately. In New York, that's pretty impressive. And for a team and a city that was desperate for success for the Knicks. So it's just the responsibility that he shoulders, and then building on his game and getting better and better. So I don't necessarily think there was a big change from when he got to USA Basketball. It was more, to me, he took that leap when he got to New York.
You guys, your turnover differential is sort of flipped.
Yeah.
These last 7-8 games, you're forcing more, committing less. How important is that to the success that you guys have had recently? And also, how real do you think it is, or how sustainable do you think it is, on either end of the floor?
Yeah, well, we got Jimmy Butler at that exact time time frame that you mentioned. So he's a huge part of that. He doesn't ever make mistakes. He is a very controlled player. I think he's a perfect complement to Steph and Draymond. Those guys are a little wild, usually in a good way, sometimes in a counterproductive way. And Jimmy complements that because, he's every possession matters for him. He makes the most of every one. And then defensively, he's kind of in tandem with Draymond, playing on the backside of the defense. It's really impressive watching them work. So, yeah, it's a big part of our turnaround is that differential in points off turnovers in particular.
Steve, what have you thought of kind of Kevin Knox and just the way he's handled the 10 days, the G League stuff, as he's just as a former first rounder kind of trying to claw his way back?
He's been great. I mean, I'm just so impressed with the fact that, he's on this path, on this journey, and not giving in and going to the G League and putting in the work, and he's done a great job, and we're thrilled to have him. He's a great young guy, very talented, so we're committed, to helping him get better, and hopefully he's here for a long time.
Steve, what's your plan for
I'm sorry?
What's your plan for Quentin tonight?
Plans for Quentin? Yeah, he's in our rotation. He's been really good player for us. Just the spacing, as a pick and pop, big, but also his toughness, his passing ability. He's a really good player, so we're lucky to have him.
Steve, the combination of Mikal Bridges and OG for the Knicks, especially what Tibbs likes to do defensively, using Mikal to guard the point of attack and then using OG to guard whoever else. Just how do you approach that when they're so good defensively and what OG can do and how Mikal defends?
Just have to execute well. We got to anticipate that that Mikal will be draped all over Steph, and we got to free him up and try to counter what they're doing defensively with really good execution.
On the travel side, with the traveling issue, historically, we say basketball coaches and players complain that at FIBA level that there are too many traveling calls. Would you like to see that emphasis in FIBA traveling?
I noticed last year in FIBA, I noticed that the FIBA refs were learning from the NBA refs. There was so much traveling in the Olympics, so it's an epidemic. It's worldwide, and I'm committed to putting a stop to it. I think we've gotten so loose with it, and I just feel like it's such a better game. The league's always been great too about adjusting and adapting when things get too carried away, and I love what's happened this year. Way more physical, way fewer touch fouls. The competition is better. So I love that the league responds and is always on top of things. I talk to the other head coaches. We all feel the same way. And I know the league will work with us and work together. So I think it's something that we need to address. We always have to be looking out for the good of the game. And it does nobody any good if we're letting guys take 3 steps. They're already hard enough to guard. We want really good competition, but we want a clean, pure game too. And some of the stuff I'm seeing is it's too much.
Steve. Along those lines, do you think we're getting toward the apex of 3 attempts per game, or can we get to 60 per game? Is that possible? 7?
It's hard because the math is the math. I mean, the Celtics won the title last year taking 50 a game, and I know for us, we need to take a lot of threes. Especially before we got Jimmy, we never got to the free throw line. So we had to take a lot of threes, and it's hard to predict, where it's all going.
Steve, what stands out about the way Pat's worked his way through the program these past few years?
Pat's just a great teammate, great worker, hell of an athlete, obviously, with a lacrosse background, and fearless. And every time I throw him in the game, I feel good about it. So I'm a big fan, and he's really added to kind of our fiber, just every day, the work that he puts in, and this the energy on the bench. He's really a good guy to have on the squad.